Okay, YouTube, my name is Trevor Steele, and in today's video, I'm going to lay out the step-by-step process I take from when I pull up to my flying spot to being in the air to back into the truck. Let's get started. Step number one, once you arrive at your flying destination, is to identify the weather. What is the wind? Where's the wind coming from? Well, for right now, the wind's kind of over here, which is not the most optimal weather direction. Totally doable, but not optimal. After wind, check for clouds. Everything looks pretty good. I already checked radar and windy, so I know the weather aloft, and I know if there's any activity around me. After I check the wind, I check my LZ. If it's a new LZ to me, I will walk my runway at least once, if not twice. In addition to walking the runway, I identify any obstacles in my path, the direction I'm going to be taking, as well as my takeoff route, my flight path on takeoff. So I'm going to turn and I'm going to take off that way, spin all the way around, and go that way onto that field there. It's a routine launch for me at this spot. Otherwise, I would walk my entire flight path to know exactly where I'm going. After I've done those two things, the next step is going to be the wing. Today, I'm going to be flying a 4XS 16-meter Dominator right here. It's a custom 1 of 3 with the flat top logo on the bottom. I'm going to set it up into the wind, which is going that direction with as much space as possible for laying it out for a nice, beautiful forward launch. First step, open it up. Once I get it open, I try and lay it out as cleanly as possible. I don't like to just leave it in a big old ball, although totally possible. I find there's a few tricks to nailing forward launches, and a perfectly laid out wing into the wind. And trick number 1. This looks like a stress tangle. Boom, I was right. So I'm gonna make sure I get this wing cleanly laid out or into the wind, as open as possible. You can see I've got a beautiful flat top logo. I'm gonna make my way to the risers, open up the lines, make sure all the lines are clear, make sure there's nothing kind of caught in the lines. If I take off with like a leaf caught in my lines, it could cause a stress tangle, which will kill lift and cause me to possibly not climb out fast enough. So I'll just kind of check everything, make sure it all looks good, check my trims, make sure they're in the correct position. Then I roll it towards the wing like this, get about halfway across in the center here, set the riser down with the A away, set the riser down with the A away. That is all done. Now the next step is the motor. Flat top's really nice. You know, if you got a pickup truck, you can just toss it in the back. There's also, you know, you can stick it in a carry rack or a trailer, any of those situations. Once here, I'm gonna do my pre-flight. For my pre-flight, it's a few step process. It's not super complicated. I start at the top on the back side. I check Velcros. Velcros all look pretty good. A loose Velcro isn't the end of the world, but you don't want one that's not even attached. So as long as all my Velcros are attached, I'm good. I check cage pieces. Flat top looks pretty good. There's, you know, no loose nettings. Then I start from the top and work my way to the bottom. Prop looks good. Prop tape is in good shape, a little damaged, but not bad. Whole leading edge of that side's good. Move down to my belt. My ribs are still good on the belt. It's just a smidgy loose, it seems, so I could tighten that before my next flight or after this flight. I kind of shake the exhaust, make sure it has a little movement, but isn't falling off. Check for cracks, no cracks. Check to make sure all 6 springs are on, that these 2 bolts here and on the other side are tight. Move back up to the airbox, check, make sure there's no cracks in the seal, kind of lift up on it, make sure it's securely attached. Check the fuel line up here, make sure it's still attached to the carb, isn't touching the engine anywhere. Move over to the spark plug, where I'll pop the cap off. Boom, I'll check this very end piece and the spark plug itself. If either are loose, I'll make sure I tighten those down. Then I'll go all the way down to the gas tank, make sure that's attached, those pins are in, the cap is on, there is gas, and that's still attached. Make my way to the front of the unit. So I consider that the backside, this the front side. I'm going to grab the throttle. I'm going to look in there at the throttle cable. I'm going to squeeze it 3-4 times all the way. I want to make sure it's not sticking and it's still moving. Once I do that, I hit kill switch up and down. Make sure those aren't stuck. You'd be surprised people trying to start with a kill switch hit. And I make sure that throttle cable has a little play in it. Kind of shake this piece, shake that piece. Everything looks good to go there. Make sure that the kill switch wire is still attached. All this wire is still attached to the coil. Everything looks good. Harness, check, make sure that Velcro. These two Velcros are attached. Check my hook-in points. I see that they're wrong, so I'm going to adjust those. If it's your personal unit, you probably won't adjust hook-in points very often, so you won't have to worry, but I always check my lumbars, which I'll show you in just a second. Boom, hook-in points. Lumbars is this piece here. They sometimes slide out, so I always check to make sure they're in the spot they need to be in for me. I'm used to it because I fly a different paramotor every day, so, you know, gotta get used to checking them. Then I check the leg straps. You want to make sure, you want to make sure that the top of this piece here goes to the center there, and the center there, that looks good. I'm now ready to start. If your unit is not a flat top, do not start it on the ground. Decompress the engine, and one good smooth pull. Whoa, she started up real nice. Now my particular unit is idling a little low, so I've got to kind of play with that throttle a little bit. Not the end of the world, but something I will adjust later. As you can see, it died on me. I'll start it back up once I'm in. Now, usually I let it idle from the time I start it on the ground here, all the way until I've hooked into the motor. Or into the wing. So it's typically idling now. I get up, I make my way to the wing, it's still idling. I let it idle all the way until I have all the controls ready to go. It's the latest point I can. That way there's no air or anything in the carb. It's been run all the way up right before I launch, so it doesn't boggle or struggle to start. Okay, hooked in. I'm gonna go ahead and start the motor. Grab here, pull forward. There we go. So I get the controls. Now, when you hook in to the hook in forward, brake should be on top. Pop them out. Swing your hand around. Grab the A's. Pull the A's up into the center. I'm gonna run it all the way up. Just a smooth all the way up. And a smooth all the way down. There we go. Alright, I'm ready. Check my wing right to left. Make sure I'm in the center without turning, and go. Now, if you're dumb like me, you'll forget your phone was in your pocket. You'll be scrambling to get it tucked away before it flies away. Now, it's important after launch you do two things. If you have a reserve, it's important you check to make sure your reserve hasn't come out of the reserve container. Second thing, look up at the wing and make sure the risers aren't twisted and the lines aren't twisted. You want to make sure everything is all clear, good to go before you proceed with a long flight. Woo! Oh yeah! Oh! Like a fighter jet, baby. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! That's what I'm talking about, baby! Woo! Oh baby, check out this little rock section. I'm just gonna cruise my way down it. Yeah, buddy. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, oh, oh. Would it even be a good flight if I didn't do a little foot drag? Huh? Huh? Just a small foot drag for the boys. Woohoo! Oh, yeah. Whoa, yeah, baby. Every flight is a good flight, yeah, buddy. Straight up. Oh yeah. Whoa. Oh yeah. Oh baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you everyone, thank you. Woo! Do my daily G-forces, man. Life is just better under a wing, man. Well, once you land, pretty simple. Unhook from the wing. I typically do a quick check over of my motor because let's say something broke. I would like to know about it before I go to fly the next time. So I just briefly go through the same pre-flight, prop exhaust, air box, spark plug without touching this time since it's nice and hot now. Check that belt. Once checked over, lift her on up, back in the truck. Wham! Wha! Ha! Perfection! Arms length out, big ol' loop, right side through, right to left. Good chunk of the glider. Left side through, right to left. Not very much. Lift it up, find the tag, step right next to, in between the tag, risers to the right, pull the glider into ya. Now, for the worst part of going flying, this is the part I don't look forward to, and that's going. That's being done. I don't want to be done. And done, just like that. Wing goes in, helmet off, start the car, drive away.